we will bring us in. Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We will be picking up where we left off 2 weeks ago. We've been gone for 2 weeks. So, yeah, this is, I guess, 3 weeks ago? Anyways, we are back after a short hiatus due to real life and other issues. Wes being in the hospital and tons of fun. But we are back, and where these guys left off, they had just rescued a child that had been taken off into the surrounding forest. They are on a planet that, for lack of a better name, we have just been calling Gantrad. And the reason for that being is that the city on the planet, the only major large industrial city, is named Gantrad, owned by the Gantrad Trading Association, and that is run by a tentacle-like species called the Haix. And the Haix they've made contact with the travelers. They have told them that they are here feeding. And at first the travelers were quite distressed at this, because the other race that's on the planet is a bird-like avian race called the Dudala. And the Dudala, they are very, very low technology level, except for the ones that live in Gantrad City. The ones that are in Gantrad City, the Haix have kind of uplifted. The Haix are basically taking as many resources as they can from the planet, turning them into tech level 7 to 8 goods, and then selling them back to the Dudala that live in the city. And the Dudala, their natural kind of mentality is that they have a keeping up with the Joneses attitude. So if their neighbor has something, they have to go out and get it too, or if possible, get something that's better. And it's this constant competition of who has the best shit. And
refrigerator, microwaves, and things like that.
Yes. And so, so the Haix are quite happy with this arrangement, and this is actually what the Haix refer to as feeding. They are going to suck up every resource from this planet that they can, turn it into producible goods, sell it back to the population of the planet until there's no more resources to take, and the Dudala have nothing else to spend on it. And then the Haix will pack up all their stuff and leave. And the Dudala will be left with nothing. But the Dudala in the city, they believe that the Haix are great, and then there are the Dudala that live outside the city and have farms and small villages, and they don't really care one way or the other. And the Dudala in the city refer to them as rebels, even though they aren't. They are not rebelling against anything. So it's a very odd setup. The Haix told the travelers that they did not want them to trade with the Dudala, and that they were not allowed to do any mining on the planet. The travelers have set up scaffolding in orbit. They are trying to do a field refit to just fix some of the minor wears and tears and quirks that Revelation has picked up through the multiple years that they've been traveling. And so basically it is a makeshift dry dock, and the Haix have agreed to allow them to mine from the belts. And so, or no, it's not in orbit around the planet. They actually decided to put it in orbit in the actual asteroid belt, and they will tow it back. And they have agreed, as part of this agreement, to give the scaffolding to the Haix so they can use it as they see fit after Revelation leaves. And so after having rescued this child from a pantherish-like predator, the Haix have showed up at the landing site, and they are and the travelers currently are about 2 clicks out at the village, and the Haix a Haix party has showed up at the travelers' landing site and are in a bit of a tizzy because they don't know, but they are rather agitated. And so where we left off, the travelers are heading back to their landing site to see what the problem was. Before we get started, we would like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. And tonight, we would like to thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your games, such as custom DM screens, player vaults, dice trays, dice towers. They have all manner of wood products that can all be customized. If you order something that's customized, it will take usually about 6 to 8 weeks for it to ship to you from the time of purchase. But they have a lot of items that they've already created that are in stock. All of them are beautiful. You can check their in-stock inventory on their website. Those items usually ship in about 1 to 2 business days. So they're great if you are buying for somebody who's a gamer and you don't really know what they would really want. You can pick something up that's pretty neutral but still looks good, and it will be ready to go. If you would like, we have a code that is good for 10% off anything on their site. When you go to checkout, after you put everything into your cart, you can use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will get you 10% off your discount. We have our own merch store via Zazzle. And so I did actually work on the new hoodie. The problem that I'm having with the hoodie is that evidently they are sold out of orange sweatshirts. And that might sound stupid, but this particular hoodie really needs to have an orange sweatshirt. So it is not done, but I am still hopeful. If not, I might have to settle and pick another color, which is probably going to mean that it's going to be either white, gray, or black, because those seem to be the plethora of options that are available. I think there's a green one. It vexes me. It vexes me greatly. But we have T-shirts, we've got hoodies, we've got a blanket that comes in 3 sizes, and we have a beer stein and buttons. We got lots of buttons. Well, 2 different designs of buttons, but they are in stock, thank God. So 100% of the output from that store actually goes right back into the channel. So if you want to help us out with subscription costs like Roll20 or anything like that, go get yourself a button and a T-shirt, and we really appreciate you. So now I don't remember. It's been a while. I don't remember. So was Sarda at the ship, or was Sarda with the rest of the party?
I think Starter came with us, didn't he?
I think he did too.
Yeah, I think I did go with you guys, but I don't know that I was. Yeah. I might be on the actual smaller ship.
Right. Yeah, I know. Right. Let's just say that you're with the party, because you guys were heading back to the ship, and so you guys head back to the ship. Some of the Dudala males do follow you. They don't really have anything like a warrior caste or anything. It's not even really. It's really hard to tell what it is that they do. The Dudala are so.
They die.
Well. Yeah, that's kind of what you guys are saying. Like, man, I hope nothing really bad happens here, because
they don't defend themselves.
Well, they do defend themselves, but as far as like, if there was a concerted military effort, the Dudala would be overrun almost instantly, because they have a very short attention span, and from what you have witnessed, they will be working on something and then randomly start working on something else, leaving the previous project partially finished, and then randomly leave and go work on a third thing. I mean, they have just very short attention spans, and then they do eventually come back to what they were doing. But if there was like any kind of concerted military effort to invade, these guys, they would be incapable of forming any kind of cohesive plan or defense, and they would probably just be slaughtered. But there's a few of them that follow you. They do have a couple of hunting tools, knives and spears, things of that nature. They are not, from what you have seen, they are not Luddites. They are aware of technology. They have chosen to live this way. but they're not anti-technology, and they're not anti-Gantrad. They don't really care about the city. They just choose to live this way. And so there's a couple of them that follow you at a distance. They probably stay behind you guys about 200-300 yards, and one of them is bringing their eldest son, who looks like he would be around 8 or 9 years old, human age. Just kind of showing him the parts. And so you guys you hike back the 2 clicks back to the NSY-X, and you can see that there is a crude-looking hovercraft-like vehicle. You can't really. I mean, it looks like a hovercraft. You at first glance you think, oh well, that's a really ugly air raft, but it's not. It can't fly. It is a hover vehicle. And out of this, you see that there are 4 Haix, and they are giving Pappy and what was the other guy's name? Your technician guy. They're kind of not. They're not harassing them. They're being Karens. So I guess it is harassment, but they're not. It's not like assault or anything. But they are really uppity, wanting to talk to their managers.
And what if the manager says no?
Right. I used to love it at CompUSA when I worked there, because I was a manager, and my favorite thing was I am the manager. That just pisses them off more. I love it. So, this is the scene that you see as you are heading up to the ship. What would you like to do?
Shoot him in the head, but I don't think I'll do that.
Yeah.
I have a social 12 now, so maybe I should talk to him.
Wow, really? You're the one who ended up with the high soc?
He started at a 10, so that didn't hurt.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You were like a minor noble's son or something like that? Or you had contacts?
He was the treasure of the planet.
Right. Right.
We don't have the planet is so backwater that we don't have any Imperials. Don't have any.
Right. Yeah.
Don't even have a sir to watch over us. So everybody used to take care of me because they thought I would influence Dad. Of course I wouldn't.
Right.
I just take their drinks and
then you ended up going into the Interstellar Scouts to get away from it all.
Yep.
So, all right. So if you got the big soch, what are you wanting to say?
What's the issue here? What can I do to help you?
So you guys kind of come up, and these 4 Haix didn't really notice you because they're basically the lead Haix, or what you perceive as being a leader, is kind of letting Pappy have it. And he immediately, as soon as you say that, they all turn around, and Pappy just kind of rolls his eyes and goes, "Oh, thank God." He's like, I am not high enough rank for this. And the Haix comes up and he says, You! I was informed that you have gone and spoken with the rebels. This will go and void our contract.
Actually, the rebels came in, the so-called rebels came and spoke to us and asked for help against creatures that were killing their children. We have not traded with them.
Go ahead and make a persuasion plus social check.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
I need to roll that more often.
Right? These were Lorelei's predators that were dragging the children off, and he says, he says, "Oh, what form did these predators take?" And he seems incredulous. He's like, likely story, rebel scum.
Rebel scum. It sounds
Have
like Rebel Moon.
we were gonna help them hunt them. Did that happen, or that hasn't happened yet?
It happened.
Well, yeah,
it happened, and we killed like 2/3 of them.
Right? Yeah, you didn't have to really go after many more of them, but he wants his question is what do these things look like?
Here, and I'll pull out my terminal, and I'll start replaying us slaughtering them.
Okay.
The video footage of us doing hunting with these guys.
Thank you, Shorter, because I didn't have a clue how to explain to somebody who's got tentacles what a cat looks like.
Yeah, right.
And so this shouldn't be a problem anymore, and I would imagine that this means that the locals here will be more productive.
So as soon as you show the video on your I assume probably on your mobile comm, and he looks at this, and I mean it's almost impossible to discern. You haven't been around them long enough to discern body language, and you're certainly not going to discern any facial expressions. But the four of these guys kind of turn and are whispering back and forth between each other, just kind of keeping it quiet amongst themselves. And he finally turns around and he goes, and he says, "We will have to take this to Grand Trad City and talk to Grand President Grand Trad."
I'll be happy to transfer the media to you. What's the method that you prefer to receive your video footage in?
Well, shit, that's a good question. I would say that they would probably have some form of...
Get some RCA cables.
Right. Right. A coax. They got a phone with a couple of screws on the bottom.
I mean, where their heads are, where their eyes are, can they even see stereo?
They have a phone that's got a couple of screws on the bottom, and you got to screw in one of those boxes from the Atari 2600, set it to like game, and then you have to tune the phone to like channel 3, and then plug in a coax cable.
That's right.
We'll download these into a Calendar 64 cartridge for you.
Right. I would think these guys, what's it say? They are... they are like, oh, here we go. They're teal 9. So yeah, you could probably transfer the data.
So I would transfer
wirelessly.
data that would include the initial meeting with their guys when we signed the deal.
Okay.
Then the meeting with the locals where we explained how we could not do any type of trade with them whatsoever, but that if they're being hunted by predators, we'll be happy to help hunt those predators. So that, showing that we are not violating the treaty.
Right.
And then a copy of what I've got up till now of the meeting with them. And put that all on there and basically provide that as video footage for them so they can see our entire perspective on the entire matter.
Okay. So so the four of them ask you to follow them back to Grand Trad City. Now, Grand Trad City is like 5 clicks away, and their air raft, and I say that in air quotes,
Sure.
is full with the 4 of them. So you could your choice, you could either have Pappy lift off with the ship and fly over there if you wanted to follow them, or you could just take Randolph's Gecko.
Gecko.
I'm down with the Gecko. If
That's
Randolph is,
fine.
or are you worried about it getting confiscated? We don't have grav belts. That would really freak them out.
I mean, you guys are only 6 tech levels above them.
Yeah, but yeah, we can take the Gecko if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
Okay.
Let me see.
So I mean, there's not really roads. Their air raft is doing, or hover raft is doing far better because it doesn't have to deal with the train. It's just going over the top of it.
Sure.
So Randolph, go ahead and make a drive wheeled plus dex check.
7.
Okay. I mean, it's not that bad a train. I mean, it's an open field. And this, like I said, this field is about 3 clicks out, pretty much on either side, is where the forest starts. It's kind of in the middle. This is a kind of a circular valley, and
I should have brought the young bronze worker because I'm training him to drive the Gecko.
we're gonna let you drive. God, that's how I learned how to drive. My dad. We're gonna go fishing in fucking May, and up on the mountain it was still snowy. First time I'd ever been behind the wheel, officially.
In the snow.
In the snow. In a 63 Dodge Dart 3 on the tree. Never driven before in my life, and here we go.
Perfect.
You learn real quick.
Gonna back that trailer up now.
That's right. That's right. And so you guys follow these 4 in their hover raft, and it 5 clicks goes by pretty quick, even with the bumpy ride. But you guys make it into yes, like washboards, make it into Grand Trad City, and the city is as you are pulling in behind this hover raft. Everybody in the city, including the Dudala, they are all kind of giving you guys what can only be described as the stink eye. Like they are looking at you guys like you are like you've done something that has made you public enemy #1.
Perfect.
And the Dudala, they will take their children and move them closer and kind of point at your vehicle as you drive past. And of course, in the city, none of them are really. They're not, the city dwellers aren't really shocked by your vehicle at all. Well, I guess the rebels out in the outback wouldn't be either. They've seen the Haix, so they're aware. So you guys pull in and they lead you up into the Haix trade ship that is the center of the city, and once again, they take you to where'd it go? There it is. Zoom in on this. So yeah, you once again come into this cargo bay here. And the 4 of them, they just pull in, and you can, everybody. Well, both of you make recon plus intellect checks.
I must say this character has.
Oh man.
Whew.
Well, somebody rolled well at least.
So Randolph, I mean, it's probably you've been here for about a month, you've been in system for about a month. You guys, everybody's been ferrying down to your little R&R station that you've set up on the planet, but you haven't been in the city since you initially got here. And Randolph, you notice that, so you remember that these cargo bays are basically open, and people in the city can come in, and they're kind of set up as large warehouse style stores. Each one of these is set up like a Costco.
Yeah, it's Costco.
Right, it's like Costco. And you guys
With its
go,
whole factory in the back.
right, yeah. I mean, there's like a 40-gallon jar of mayonnaise, and then next to it, you can buy like 40 plungers at a time. But um, you go in, and Randolph, you notice that all of the inventory seems to be different from the last time you were here. Even the layout of the shelving is different. Serta doesn't really notice. He just sees a bunch of crap. Like, it's all at the highest. It's like tech level 9, but most of it is like tech level 7, tech level 8. Just what a lot of it is stuff that you guys would think of as like trinkets or electronic toys. I mean,
So this time, instead of dishwashers, they have Atari 1600s.
Yeah, I mean, there's entertainment stuff, and there's you know uh, you know gadgety kitchen devices and things like that. There's still a gantry overhead that is bringing out the bigger stuff like washing machines and refrigerators and stuff like that. But most of the stuff that you're seeing on the floor this time around just seems like it's all not necessary junk. It's all of this is wants. It's not going to uplift your society in any way.
It must be Haix Christmas time.
Yes. And so you guys get into you take the central elevator up to, I thought I had a bigger map of this. I could have swore I had it. Anyway, this will do. And you guys get up to the top floor where there is this, the high quality living area where the president, the Gantrad, President Gantrad, that's all you know him as. It's like this weird
President for life, Gantrad.
Yeah, it's like this weird. They use their title and name synonymously, and you get the distinct feeling that that's not really his name. It's just something he made up. It's very peculiar. But you get up into this area, and these four guys come in, and they immediately start. They go over and they're whispering in hushed or hurried, agitated whispers to the president. And he finally, like, 3 of his tentacles comes up, and they kind of flop around in the air, and the 4 of these guys kind of all back off. And he says, "Go, leave. I shall talk to them." And he says he as soon as they leave, he steps forward and he looks at Sarda and he says, "May I see your recording device?"
Oh, it's built into my suit.
Oh.
And so I'll point to the cameras and stuff that are in the suit.
Oh, okay. And he goes, "Oh, that is unfortunate." He says,
You wanted to buy them?
He says, "What would it be worth it to you? What could the Grand Trad Trading Association offer you to delete that footage?"
Which footage?
That's the stuff I like to hear. He says, "What footage are you speaking of?" No, the footage of those terrible creatures.
Why would we delete them? Why would we delete that footage? They seem to be a problem. But we were easily able to resolve the problem.
So he, like, 2 of his tentacles clapped together in a rubbery, out of water tentacle kind of way, and you see that one of these steward bots comes out of an alcove and rolls over and brings a silver kind of tray with a bottle of what looks like it would be liquor, and he wraps a tentacle around it, and another tentacle pulls the lid off, and he pours 3 glasses and tentacle kind of grabs one of the glasses and he pours it into his mouth on top of his head. And he says, well, you see, those creatures aren't exactly native to this world.
Gotcha. Okay.
We brought them here from another planet. We were thinking that they might make good trade animals, but they are very difficult to domesticate, and they got out. And evidently they have a rather robust libido.
We brought you these fluffy bunnies, Australia.
Yes, you know.
So there's lots of them.
Yes. We would really rather that information or really any information about these predators, we would like to keep that from getting out, especially to the population of the city.
Oh, we have no intention of talking to anybody in the city. I mean, our plan literally is to restock, refit our ships, refuel, and get the hell out of here. That's our plan.
And he kind of, one of his eyes looks at you in a weird way. So, and here again, so Randolph and Sarda, you can make recon plus intellect checks.
I get a 9.
That's pretty good. And Sarda got it too. So you both are coming now that this is your second time in close proximity with these guys, and you are able to start picking up some. It's hard to say facial expressions, but there are expressions, and you're starting to pick up on this particular body language. Now, a couple things about their body language. First of all, it creeps you the hell out. Like they are if you were to drink really shitty liquor and go to bed at night, these are the nightmares that would haunt you. These guys are freaky looking. And so when they get these weird expressions or their body language is part of their communication, it's awkward, it's jiggly, and you don't like it. But
Reminds me of a shark.
Yeah, a mix between like a shark and a giant
Jiggly.
squid.
It's jiggly.
It's very jiggly, yes. I mean, Japanese anime girls are going to stay as far away from these guys as possible. Or maybe not, depending on the Japanese anime girl. But, so, the other thing that you realize is their eyes have 3 eyes, and they serve different purposes. So the center eye seems to be geared towards close-up inspection and detail. The 2 side eyes are more, these guys have almost a 180-degree field of view, and they are geared more towards longer range vision. And it would be very difficult to sneak up on these guys. I mean, you would have to literally come in straight from behind them, or else they are going to have some kind of field of vision to see you. And so you are kind of his body posturing and the way he's acting, you are picking up on how these eyes work and how their body language works with their communication. And of course, Sarda is pretty well versed at this point in their language. What is your Haix language skill like?
Oh, I don't. Let me see.
I think the last time we talked, it was 0.
Yeah, I don't even have language trained.
Well, because of the ganglion, you gained.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what that. Let me see what that. That's like I've got that in inventory, I think.
Yeah, so it automatically after 8 hours, I think it gave you.
Yeah,
it gave you language Haix 0. Your language Haix should be at least 1.
Okay, yeah, I knew that it was getting better as time went by, and so
I didn't.
Yeah, the ganglion thing that I swallowed.
So
Or
the other thing about this month that that Revelation has spent, one of the things that the captain, because during your report of having dealt with the Haix and the Dudala, the captain had the communications department kind of aim at that planet, and they have been bringing in TV and radio broadcasts from Gantred City, and so this has been playing on all the monitors. Most people have no idea what they're watching, and it seems like every program is an infomercial. They might have dramatic elements, but when it's all said and done, they're trying to sell you something. It's like G.I. Joe and Transformer and My Little Pony cartoons from the 80s.
yeah,
The only reason anything exists is to sell more toys. And that's what every one of these things is. And so you have been watching these over and over again, but your ganglion, of course, because you can pick up on languages very quickly, you are now more than fluent. You are at language 1. I would say that you can probably even write it.
and that language. I'm sorry, it's K. What?
Haix.
Haix. Haix. All right, so that was the language one from the ganglion. Okay, cool.
And so you obviously have because of the ganglion, you have, and he gave it to you for this reason. And so you can pick up on body language better and how it works with their language. And he is, you can tell that he's holding something back. So essentially what your insight into this is that he's not telling the whole story about these predators. Like maybe he wasn't supposed to have them.
Yeah, maybe he released them to reduce the rebels on purpose.
I'm also looking at it as I don't care.
Right.
It's it's his mess.
It's his mess. It's not
like
we're going to kill them all.
It's a mess we're not going to clean up. And so, yeah,
You're just telling, basically, we don't care. We are here to get our shit done, and we're leaving.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is your planet to feed from. We acknowledge that. We are see to our stuff, and we're out.
He kind of leans back, and like on each side of him, 3 of the tentacles kind of hook, and they hook to his hips, like he's putting his hands on his hips. And Randolph, you notice this. Randolph, you can't. You start to laugh. You can't. And he's kind of leaning to one side, like what? And he says, well, so we're good. We are of one mind, right? You're not going to let this information out.
We're going to keep it for our own internal use.
Okay.
But we have no intention of giving it to anybody on this planet.
So he says so we didn't and he pours himself another drink. You guys still haven't touched yours. It is some kind of greenish liqueur. Doesn't smell bad. Smells like it's potent.
I'll drink it. What the hell? I got a ganglion from him.
Get your ganglion drink.
I'm not going to drink it. I pull out my hand scanner and scan it.
And yeah, you drink it. It's a strong citrusy kind of alcohol, and maybe with a slight hint of sardine. He dumps it in the top of his head, and he says, "So, how you and your people are clearly not from this region."
Nope. And I will bring up a map on my of the region on my terminal, and then I will begin backing it out to show where we are from.
Okay, so you start zooming out, zooming out, and zooming out, and zooming out, and
Yeah.
and he's looking at this star map, and like his one middle eye kind of goes big, like he's like, wow, and he says, whoa, what kind of
So you
deal?
can
What kind
you
of
can sort of
deal-
see why we don't care what happens here.
He says, what kind of deal could we make for engineering documentation on your jump drive capability?
That would have to be discussed with our captain. But it's been our policy not to give away better technology. However, we have been known to improve existing technology. And so if you'd like us to look at your warp drives, your jump drives, and tell you what could be done to improve them and make them safer, that would be something I'd be very willing to do.
He says, "Oh, that's definitely a start. That's definitely a start." And he said he takes your map and he squeezes it down, and he says, and he shows you basically most of this subsector and some of the subsector to the core word, and you can see this very roundabout path. And he says, "This is where I came. This is where we came from. This was my home planet where I was born, and where I first got my first trade deal, and we moved all the way rimward towards here." And he says, "This is where I'm going to strike it rich."
And so where he's planning, have we been there yet? Or is that...
You haven't, and it's core word. It's really off of your beaten path. I mean, not that you wouldn't go core word if need be, but in order to come back down, perhaps, on another route. But core word is not the direction you want to go. You are looking... Revelation is really looking to go rimward. They're trying to go down. Because they're trying to find a way. They've been searching all this time for some kind of path to cross the Great Rift. So far, nothing's been found. And that was part of the next part of the mission as you enter the near side of yonder sector, is that really this is going to be the make or break moment. Because if the ship can't find a path across the Great Rift, it could mean many years backtracking back towards charted space to find another path across the Great Rift, which there are several, and perhaps even through the islands, and then going down the rimward side, and which could be potentially more dangerous because there are known or have been known that there were Soleimani missions that were going along the Great Rift. So that was kind of nixed in the early stages, but so yeah, Revelation's really like, we need to find a way across here in this next sector, or that is going to be problematic. And so he tells you, the president tells you, he says, well, first of all, I was under the impression that you, as far as trade deals went, you spoke for your people. I didn't realize that there was somebody of higher rank above you. And then second, he says, and two, he says we would be willing to offer data on the next sector over. And he says, now I can tell you there are some primitive there are some very primitive thinking species there, but they might have some information that would be of use to you.
Previously, when we discussed trade agreements, those trade agreements did not include us giving away our technology.
Right. But I think this could be a much
Right.
more
And so,
lucrative deal for both of us.
in terms of needing someone higher than me, I was well within my rights to make arrangements that did not involve giving away higher technology to you. If you want higher technology than you currently have, I'll need to speak to my captain.
Okay.
But for the most part, from what I understand, what we've been comfortable offering has been to analyze jump drives and offer ways to make them safer. We have found that quite a few of the earlier jump drive technologies are not as safe as they could be.
Okay. So he leads you over to a console, and he brings up a diagram of the jump drive for their for the Haix trade ship. Now you're go
Am I
ahead.
reading this right that they have J1?
Yeah. So go ahead and make a jump engineering jump drive plus intellect or education check.
Sure. Bum, 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 bum. Skills. $11.
Okay. So looking at this. So they're looking at their diagram. So this is a 15,000 close structure ship. Looking at their jump drive, you're actually rather impressed.
Yeah, this is pretty compact, actually.
Yeah, so it is a J1 drive. The ship carries enough fuel for 2 jumps, or 8 weeks of operation, and essentially you're looking at it. There's not really a whole lot of efficiency that you could add to this. This is pretty much equivalent to like the J1 drives that were coming out of the First Imperium.
All
I mean,
right.
the next step for them, if they don't seem to really care about engineering and doing stuff on their own. They seem to want to do everything through trade deals. And
Right.
so,
Wonder where they got it from.
right, yeah, I mean, there's no telling. I mean, it can be assumed that at some point, some Haix somewhere developed a jump drive. But how it got to this level, probably not through them. It's probably through trading with other species that they have developed it
Gotcha.
this far. Because they don't seem like inventors to you. At least none of the ones that you've met. And so
How about their power, their fusion drive, their fusion plant?
so it does have a fusion plant. It is vastly inferior to what you're used to.
Maybe we could make it safer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you're right. I think it looks like their J drive, without having to completely redesign their ships, seems about as efficient as it's going to get. Yeah, so it sounds like you're right. The maneuver drive or the power plant, those areas might be better.
yeah, the M drive. I mean, it is what it is for a 15,000 ton ship with thrust 1.
This
I
thing's
mean,
a giant bullet. That's
it
what it looks like.
exactly. I mean, it's got 1 G of thrust, and that's about as good as it's probably going to get. But the power plant, I mean, compared to the power plants that you're used to, which you're used to fusion drive or fusion plants that are TL15, TL8, you're looking at it and wondering how like half your crew must be wondering if they have cancer or worried that they're going to melt down. I mean, there are safety interlocks and things and efficiency parts on yours that just were never even thought of for a tech level 8 fusion plant.
Yeah, they've got 3 different plants.
Right.
Well, I'm wondering if they actually even process their fuel.
That's a good question too. They do not have a fuel processor.
That didn't look like it. They did.
Yeah. I mean, that would increase efficiency of their jump drive in and of itself.
Yeah. You gotta wonder what they're doing all the carbon. You pulling all that all that helium, the H out. You got to put that carbon somewhere.
There's just a big black plume coming out from behind them everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, looking at this, you can see that their jump drive and their jump drive is about as good as it's going to get, but that power plant could really use.
Yes, that's what I'll tell them. I'll say, given your ship design, this jump drive is engineered as efficiently as you could hope, but you have some real problems here in your power and maneuver drives probably. And
do you want to mention processing the fuel?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean that. Yeah. If we could, we could show them how our ship, because I believe the Desenix has that, right? The ability to has the field processors on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so we could bring them on board. We could show them how what we do with processing fuel to make it more efficient, and explain the basic principles, the chemistry behind it.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuasion plus your choice, either social or charm.
I think my social is actually now finally a +1, so I guess I'm going with that.
Okay. Hey, that does it. So
I got an 8. What did
I got a 13.
okay, so he sends you he basically sends you back to your ship with some of his a couple of his engineers. They follow you back in an air or hover raft. And these guys who is going to try to explain the intricacies of the fuel processor and the power plant to them?
I've got engineering 0, but I can actually I speak the language.
That's true.
So that would probably.
I mean, you could translate.
So I'll do what I can to explain things, and then I'll translate for anything I can't explain that's above my edge.
I've got engineering 2 on almost everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, obviously, I could slot a chip and I could access the chip, but I mean that's probably not what they're looking for. But yeah, I'm just J drive's the only thing I'm really good at with engineering.
Okay, so Randolph.
I talked to Sarda, and Sarda translates it.
Right.
That's
yeah.
right.
So Randolph kind of pulls up a diagram and is pointing and going over, efficiency factors and interlocks and safety factors. And Sarda, you are translating all of this faster than really the your translation unit can do it, and actually more accurately. And so these guys kind of pick up on what you're saying, and picking up on their body language. These two engineers are very surprised. They're like, "Oh, we had never thought about that," and so part of that, of course, Randolph goes over fuel processors, and these guys are amazed at the idea of fuel processors, because you can clean up the fuel processors. You can essentially crack the fuel right from water. You don't have to try to use subordinate craft to refuel from a gas giant and then use dirty fuel to jump. These guys are very amazed by this, and so heading back to the city. You go back and you have another meeting with the President Grandtrad, and he, when you show up, he has a couple of items for you. You find them. Yes. Yes. So he, as you are coming into the cargo bay this time, you can see that here, towards the cargo bay doors, there are two or three items that are set up that are they're large, but they could fit in a stateroom on Deepnight Revelation. And as you make your way back up to the top, the president once again greets you, and these two engineers explain everything that you explained to them. Are you giving them digital schematics on this?
Can we give them a T10 version, schematics for a T10 version of a?
I don't see why not.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Not the one we use, but one that's not as new a design.
Yeah, basically, I think we're looking more for something that's more of an illustration that explains the process rather than something that's a hardcore schematic.
Okay.
I agree too. We give them the
high school physics version of how
if you were showing them the one that you have on Destiny, that's a tech level 15 fusion plant. So
yeah. You want the high school physics version of how the nuclear physics, how the nuclear plant works, rather than the
this
actual
is
handbook.
Internal combustion engine.
Yeah, it explains the process.
Right. Right. So he, they are quite excited about it, and so President Gantrad, part of their culture is, if he can get something for nothing, he will. But it seems more, if he gives you something, it seems more likely to him that he'll get something back.
Right, sure.
And so he tells you, he says, oh, maybe you saw it as you were coming in, but as a thanks for this, I have gifted each of you, and including your friend that is not present today, I am granting each of you auto laundries, personal auto laundries for your quarters aboard ship.
Well, thank you. That's very generous of you.
So these are tech level 7 auto laundries. You can find them on page 80 of the Central Supply Catalog. So they will clean, iron, fold, and deodorize your clothing.
That's very generous of you.
And, each one of these is 18 kilos. So, like I said, they're not enormous, but they're going to take up a wall.
Figure out
your quarters.
How many crew members there are times 18 kilos.
Right? Yes. We'll have this thing burned out in a week.
There's 4.5 tons of crap.
And he says he's also throwing in some tech level 6 high fidelity music systems.
Excellent.
It even has a dock for your mobile comm. So you can play those MP3s. And he is very, willing to make further trade deals with you. And he then says, how does your mining operations go in the belt?
It's going well, from what we understand.
Excellent. Well, if there's anything that if there's any special ores or exotic materials that we might be able to supply for you, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm sure that we can come to an equitable deal.
There may be. Oftentimes there are some rare earths. Some of those minerals are harder to come by, and so as soon as we know what we need, we will definitely come to you.
Excellent. So, with your trade deals,
I want some dilithium crystals.
Some what?
Dilithium crystals.
Oh yeah, well, who doesn't, right? When you talk about the ultimate sci-fi MacGuffin. Oh, well, it runs on dilithium crystals. Okay.
Okay.
I guess our culture with no economy all of a sudden has an economy.
Right. Yeah, right. No shit. Right. Oh, we don't print money anymore because nobody needs money. And then till you get to Deep Space Nine, it's like, oh well, no, there's gold plus platinum.
Yeah.
Everybody uses money. It's only you weirdos that don't use money. What? So you you guys get back in the Gecko and you drive back to your camp, and there are two vehicles, these hover vehicles behind you, that are hauling your loot now.
Perfect.
That they follow you back to your camp, and when they get back to the camp, they're the Haix unload it and they load it into Destin X's cargo bay, and several of the people that are at the camp are immediately coming up like, oh, what'd you guys get, and can we buy one of those, and I thought we weren't supposed to buy anything, and there, and they have all sorts of questions.
Since we don't have any money, what are you going to buy it with?
These came from the Haix. They've offered them as gifts. We're not sure what we're going to do with them, but we cannot allow them out of our control. Thank you for your questions.
Do we need one here at the camp for a while?
We appreciate your interest. No, I'd say no. Let's get them off planet so that they can't think that we're possibly trading with these locals that we swore we would not trade with.
Right. Okay. So you're.
That way we can figure out if there's tracking devices on them or microphones or.
So having concluded, trade negotiations, smoothing things over with the rebels, you basically the Alex, Sub-Lieutenant Alex Venati, she is thankful. She apologizes to you that you had to come all the way down here, but the situation seemed above her pay grade.
I know, happy to resolve it.
And we're happy to come down to help.
And we found out more about the people that live here on this planet. These invasive species here we've got.
So you guys, having nothing left to do, did you want to spend some R&R time at the camp, or did you want to get back up to Revelation overseeing refit? That's up to you guys.
It's the refit appeals to me.
And me as well.
Okay.
I'm
I kind of feel like the last time
particularly
we're on
interested in watching the planet spin.
Yeah, I think the less time we're on the planet, the less chance of us getting the problems there are.
That's true. Get me away from these squid sharks. And so, the Haix load up your washers and dryers and your record players into your cargo hold, and Pappy kind of waves everybody out the window and hits the maneuver drive, and you guys lift off. And what? How many hours did I say that was? Only like 16, I think. So you're 4G, and you've got deep space memory. So about 167 minutes will have you out to the closest belt where you have the scaffolding set up for Deepnight Revelation. Who wants to make? Who is watching the? Are you doing passive sensors or active sensors?
I think we've been doing passive sensors with me occasionally checking when it seemed appropriate. Like if we first jump into a system, or I would think breaking out of the atmosphere, of a planet, you might want to get a good scan in and then
Right.
let it be passive from then on out until we've got something that occurs.
Okay. Go ahead and make a electronic sensors plus intellect or education.
Yeah, because you're coming out of the atmosphere, you want to make sure everything seems smooth, and then we just let it ride after that.
Right.
14.
Okay.
So do we notice a stray asteroid coming in on us?
No. What you do notice is one of the Haix predators moving. I mean, they're not. It's funny because the predators aren't real fast either. Doesn't seem like much of a predator when it's only got 1G of thrust. But you can see that it is coming in from medium range, heading towards the planet at 1G of thrust. Well, and its drives aren't active. It is moving. It is coasting.
Right on.
At 1G.
Well, that doesn't seem unusual to me. Does it seem unusual to you?
Well, I mean, you already know the Haix are here.
Right, yeah. So it doesn't seem unusual to me at all, so I'm not going to really clock it as a threat or anything.
Okay. Jesus. Yeah, these predators have 7 triple pulse laser turrets.
I'm picturing these guys being enterprising and realizing that this really advanced species has come through here. And the next time we come back through, they're going to have this giant, like, Buc-ee's set up for us.
Right, yeah, right.
this Flying J's truck stop just waiting for us.
Just waiting for you to pull in and need repairs, yeah. Taco Bell.
They said it might be 12 years. We need to prep.
Right. So, getting back to Revelation, both of you can make a Recon plus Intellect check.
Sure. And I'm just assuming that they've got stuff in that they've bugged or tampered with the crap they've given us.
I don't notice anything.
No, you don't.
I didn't do too well either.
Okay. So, the science department has been, as they can, they have been using long-range telemetry and telescopes, scanning ahead, trying to look at the next sector. This is the Gantrad sector where you are currently at. They are looking directly to forward this direction, or not forward, rimward this direction. And they bring you some fairly rough data, because these star systems in here, this is of course the only one that they are seeing anything that's promising. These other ones with gas giants, it's not that there's nothing there, it's that they didn't see anything right off the bat, and they're kind of looking further out. Like you, they're trying to get as far out as they can. And they bring you some interesting data. Sarda, go ahead and make another electronic sensors plus intellect check. And this time, though, go back to what I was looking at before, because so we were going through, or I was going through sensor data. Military sensors grant a +0, but the Revelation has advanced distributed arrays. So that is a +2 to your sensors check. Yeah, 13 is going to do it. So looking out past here.
Actually, at 15, that doesn't even include the +2.
Right. So yeah, looking out past here, you spend It takes you 2 hours going over the sensor data before you're able to kind of piece together a picture of what the next leg looks like. And what you find, all the way over here, this is the next sector forward. And the first thing that you notice is that as you guys are traveling, the further and further you get, or the closer to the rift you get, the more sparse these subsectors seem to be. But there is some interesting data that is coming out of this. So you are picking up some radio transmissions. Now, of course, I mean, these are going to be fairly old radio transmissions, but you're picking up some radio transmissions from here, and you're picking up some radio transmissions from here.
All right. Well, these have to be pretty old. So, yeah, fire them up. See what we can find out from them.
So at that range, there's not. I mean, you can. There's going to be so much degradation and loss,
Right.
That one of two things could be happening. One, they could be. There might not be much of anything there.
Right.
But, I mean, they could just be radio harmonics that are doubling back on themselves. But what you're kind of feeling is that there is something major there, because even through the garbled mess of communications, it sounds to you like there might be some kind of space traffic going on in both of these locations.
Okay. Well, that sounds exciting.
You do see that there are a number of other worlds here, 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 and here that are showing possibilities for mining and possible resource collection.
Okay.
Even food, things like that. You're not sure until you get closer and have a look.
And we'd be coming in from the right side of the map, right?
Correct. I mean, this would be your most obvious entry point.
Right. I was just wondering, like, is that okay? So we'd have to jump to there.
Well, maybe not. Let me look at the other map. So
I just wasn't sure where we're coming from in terms of our forward jump.
yeah, so here, bring that up. So this is where you are at, I suppose. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you would be coming in at that spot. There wouldn't be anything close. Well, yeah, there wouldn't be anything closer.
We might want to go to that. Is it 1, 2, 3? Oh, I see. We could technically jump that. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 would be right there. So
right.
yeah, I mean, so that is logical and it makes sense. It's one less jump to make.
So yeah, that's the data that you are able to come up with. Now, as far as you won't be able to, you'll have to make, once you get to that next sector or subsector, you'll have to make a decision on which direction you want to scan from there. Which, you know, depending on what you see and what you find, it could take you weeks of scanning in every direction, trying to find out which direction you actually want to go.
Well, if there is trade and travel, we might be able to learn from the aliens. We might be able to get more information on uncharted space around from the aliens.
Right. And yeah, if you, I mean, you are picking up radio transmissions, or
Right.
you think, so there could be some possibility there that you could trade for, hey, maybe you could trade them some washing machines.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
astrogation data. So,
Don't give them mine.
Randolph, you want to make a, you can make a mechanic. Do you have mechanic, right?
Let me check.
I think I'm pretty sure you do.
I certainly do.
And make a mechanic plus intellect check, either intellect or education check. You're kind of going over the logs, making a decision on whether things are kind of getting ready to roll here. So a 9. So yeah, a lot of these nitpicky little calibration issues, electrical burnouts, a lot of that has been repaired. You are a little disappointed because what you're seeing, a ship. I would imagine that Randolph would take some pretty big pride in Revelation. Was Randolph in the Imperial Navy?
Yeah, before he went to the Scouts.
So you would probably take a lot of pride in Revelation.
I was in his escort frigate, Corvette.
So you've probably never been aboard anything as big as Revelation, but
Not before I got here.
right, yeah, Revelation is a big boat, and even though she has been, again, air quotes, repurposed as a science vessel, she's really you can take the war out of a warship, but you're never going to take the warship out of a warship. No matter what you do, she's still a warship. And I mean, even the spinal mount's the same, because it was cheaper to just repurpose what they had than to remove it for civilian purposes, and so they just classified it as something else and sold it. So you take a lot of pride in her, and you are a bit disappointed. I mean, yeah, all these repairs are working, but what she really needs is she needs to spend a good 6 months in a naval dry dock, and
That ain't gonna happen.
and that isn't going to happen, and that's the disappointing part. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these the burnouts and the bypasses, all of that stuff has been fixed. As for how long those repairs will last, you don't know. I mean, they could last another 2 years before you have to do something like this again. And that's the downside of these field refits, is that it just doesn't have the longevity.
Well, I'm going to go cry in my beer.
So Sarda comes into the officers area, the crew officers crew area up here, and and Randolph is sitting there, and Randolph's got his tablet computer. You've got your tablet computer. Sarda seems a lot more excited about what he's seeing than what Randolph is seeing, because you guys can kind of confer with one another, and Randolph's like, we're gonna have to get some duct tape out and do this all over again in probably a couple of years. And but Sarda's excited because there's some promising radio telemetry data.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it is what it is. Randolph, you can make just a flat engineering plus intellect check. Okay. So, going over your data, in addition to thinking that you might have to be doing this again in a couple of years, you kind of do the math and look out ahead, because you guys are only 5 years into your 10+ year mission to get there.
20 year.
Well, it's
round trip.
20 to 24 years round trip.
Right. I'm counting it round trip.
Yeah. So you're halfway to getting there, and Randolph, you're looking at this. You know that the standard maintenance schedule for this class of ship would be that about once per year at the most, she would be brought into a dry dock and gone over. Now it wouldn't take, several months. They would go over in an actual high-tech dry dock, and things would be done in a matter of weeks, and she'd go back out. What you're seeing under the current conditions is that by the time you potentially reach the end or the mouth of the Great Rift, Revelation is going to be pretty beat up. And
No kidding.
You're really starting to question quite heavily. Is she going to be able to make it back another 10 years?
Gonna need more Bondo.
It's the camouflage duct tape. If you have camouflage duct tape, you can fix anything.
Yeah, and I've got the manufacturing plant making more.
Making more, roll after roll of duct tape just coming off the line.
Case after case.
Yeah, it's all Duck Dynasty.
Red and green, red and green.
So I had.
You ever watch Red and Green on the internet?
Oh no.
It's a show about how duct tape is so marvelous and you can repair anything with it.
Right. Yeah, the camouflage duct tape. So my wife and I absolutely loathe Duck Dynasty. And thank God that show's not on TV anymore, and I don't have to hear about it. But until I bring it up, but back when in its heyday, I think it was around Christmas time. When Walmart starts putting out the Christmas cookies and all of that, and they'd have and I have this thing like if you're going to buy Christmas cookies,
October?
Yes, about October. So I have this thing due to my OCD. I'm like, if you're going to buy fucking Christmas cookies, they have to be red, white, and green. Those are the only acceptable colors for Christmas cookies, right? But no, they had Christmas trees cut out in like this disgusting green and brown camo pattern. They were Duck Dynasty Christmas cookies, and complete with like brown and green sprinkles on them. And I'm like, that's disgusting. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? They're just sugar cookies with frosting and sprinkles on them. They all taste the same. I'm like, no, they don't. The green and the red ones taste different. And she goes, no, they're all the same. I'm like, no. The green and the red ones taste better. I guarantee it. Because they're proper Christmas cookies and not damn Duck Dynasty. I'm convinced, and nobody will convince me otherwise. So...
And since you think that, that's what happens.
That's what happens, right? Yes. I think, therefore, it's true, and I am. So you guys spend about another month, and it is as good as it's going to get. I mean, the welds aren't pretty, and the soldering isn't the best soldering you've ever seen, but she'll hold together.
And we can always take a grinder to the welding in trip.
Yeah, you can do that in jump space. So yeah, I will allow. So either whether you guys want to do it or your team can do it, making an astrogation check. Let me. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2.
I don't have excavation.
Do you guys want your astrogation team to make the check? They have a 2D plus 5. I don't know if you guys have anything better than that.
I have -3.
Oh shit! So we'll have Randolph do it.
26 plus 5 is really good. What is this for?
Astrogation.
Yeah, I don't have that level. That's my sensor and my jump drive.
Yeah, they have a +5 right now because their morale's really high, their teamwork is really high, and they're all relaxed, and so they are at a 5.
Nice.
Which beats the 2 that they had showing up here. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. So astrogation is laid in. power is taken care of. They are ready to jump. What are your plans? Are you wanting to tow the scaffolding back into orbit and tell the Haix that you are getting the hell out of Dodge and that they can have the scaffolding?
I could just leave it where it's at until they can have the scaffolding.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, what are they going to do about it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
They
yeah,
want to tow it to orbit. Guess what?
Yeah, I mean,
They can tow it to orbit.
yeah, I mean, originally you said that you would tow it back, but I mean, like I said, what are they going to do about it? Nothing.
thanks for the washing machines.
Yes. So, all right. So
We
yeah.
should just leave all the washing machines on the platform.
So the piloting crew brings Revelation out of the scaffolding. Doesn't even scratch the paint. She moves out smoothly with a 14. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. My cat. So my wife and I for Valentine's Day we got we both got S24 Ultra phones, and they showed up today because we pre-ordered them, and the cats think that they got presents too because the box had
Of course.
had bubble wrap in it, and so
Oh, perfect.
Oh yeah, they think that's great.
there's bubble wrap all over the house. There's some in the kitchen. There's they're just rolling around in it. But anyways, so yeah, the piloting team brings her on out and starts to make for the 100 diameter limit. Anything else you want to do before you jump?
I can't think of anything.
You just pretty much at this point want to leave these assholes
Should
behind.
have-
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe we should have the bard make a story about jumping out.
Have the bard come up to the bridge and sing a little song. He'll do it with a mouth harp. All right, so about
That'd be better than the big horn that the Aboriginal Australians use.
yes,
Oh,
yes, the didgeridoo, yes. So about 14 hours later, you guys reach the diameter and they jump. Now this is technically a short. Well, no, I guess you could do 4, couldn't you?
4
Yeah.
will take us out of another map, out of that planet, out of that system that was populated.
That's right. That's right. I was thinking that there was going to be a 3 and then 1, but
Yeah, this will. I think this is yeah, spot 4.
yeah. So that would be
yeah.
number 4.
Our next jump's not as efficient. You know, we're gonna have to do this 2 jump, but
So in the
well, no, I guess that is 4 to get to here.
we could jump to there.
Yeah, that is 4 to get there. I was counting wrong.
So coming, so you spend a week in jump, kind of, the crew is, like I said, they are relaxed. All of them act like they have been on, on and off 2 or 3. I guess it's been about 2 months. 2-month vacation where they were able to do a lot of hiking and camping because, let's face it, that R&R camp is kind of roughing it. They didn't get to spend any time in the city, but you didn't have any major security issues. Everybody did as they were told. Alex Venati performed perfectly. The only issue she had to call you guys, but like she said, it was above her pay grade.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely the right call. The stuff that was donated to us, I think we need to go over it with a fine tooth comb and decide if we want to keep it or recycle it for parts.
Okay.
I think probably recycling it for component metals probably are, might be in our best interest to just scrap them all. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's as useful as it could be. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I want with a T7 auto laundry.
Hey man, you do find that the high fidelity sound system has very warm sound. A little scratchy, but
Probably true.
the auto laundry. I mean, uh, so are you personally going over them with a fine tooth comb, or are you sending a team to kind of?
Assign a team, make it exciting.
Okay.
Give them something to do. These people are all bored to death. That's, it's just
right. Yeah.
we're just finding projects. So it's just sort of like, yeah, go over this stuff. Make sure it doesn't have, I don't know, cameras, bugs.
No bioweapons.
Yeah. Recording devices, homing beacons,
Pocket nukes.
and then decide whether or not it's going to be useful on the ship or whether we'd be better off melting it down for parts.
So they do tell you they're not up to standards as far as what you're used to. I mean, you guys on Revelation you have like TL10 auto laundries. They are waterless. They use sonic operation. But
Sure.
The engineers that are in the process of kind of going over these things and partially taking them apart, they tell you that they are impressed. They use less than a cup of water to do their washing. I mean, they are impressive, although antiquated by what you're used to. But they do tell you that going over these things, they do indeed find a bug.
All right.
And it is much higher tech level than 9. It's a tech level 12 device.
All right. Well, does it have storage? Is it recording?
It is not recording. It is transmitting a repeating pattern code. Basically, it's a beacon.
Okay.
Gee, I think we ought to take them out of the things and push them out the airlock and leave them here.
Yeah.
I mean, you can destroy the bug. That's not a problem, and you can dismantle these. You'll get plenty of spares out of them.
Yeah, let's dismantle the bug. If there's multiple bugs, I mean, if there's one per unit, I mean, we'll remove them all. But I mean,
they only found the one.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we'll just destroy that while we're mid-jump. They shouldn't be able to get any real information from that.
Yeah, they're not going to get anything while you're in jump at all. No. So yeah,
They get in jump.
They take it apart and they discover that this thing is tech level 12. It is not. And they show it to you. It is clearly not of Haix manufacture.
Okay. So someone planted on the Haix is watching the Haix, maybe.
Well, they bought them.
Or yeah, whoever sold them, or however they pick these things up. They seem to be in a hurry to get offload them. So.
Right. But yeah, they seemed awfully excited to give them to you.
Yeah. So all right, well, cool. I guess it's. I mean, if there's anything that would help us, like in terms of looking at the bug, whether there's any kind of language or linguistic device or any symbol, or if there's programming, whether the programming's in a specific, anything that might help identify.
No, it's just transmitting a repeating sequence in binary.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, destroy it. And if folks, I guess, want this crap, I guess they're welcome to it. Otherwise, let's melt it down.
Okay.
And recycle it.
Yeah. So yeah, your teams get to work on that. I mean, it doesn't take them more than a couple of days to tear apart 3 auto laundries. And are you keeping the high fidelity systems, or are you taking those apart too?
I think if people want them, they're welcome to them. Type thing. we were given a bunch, and so I think if people want them, that's great. If they don't want them, let's recycle them.
Yeah, a number of the crew will take them. I mean, you know,
Sure.
it beats listening to music on their mobile comm.
We don't get a lot of gifts in this line of work, so don't want
Right.
to deny anybody a gift that they were offered.
Well, not only that, I mean, let's face it, most of the worlds that you've shown up at, you've had to run away from, or
Correct.
break somebody out of jail, or, you know.
Yeah.
So, so after
I
the
put mine in the officers lounge or whatever
You're
that
gonna
was.
put a washer and dryer in the officers' lounge.
No, the sound system.
Oh, the sound system. Okay, that makes more sense.
oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you could put one of the sound systems in the officers' lounge. Yeah, and so
Sure.
so the rest of the week goes by, and the engineering crew that you've got taking these apart. I mean, they're low level grunts. All they got to do is turn a spanner to take these things apart. They're all kind of laughing the 3 or 4 days. They're like, "What a bunch of idiots!" You know, they wanted to try to track us by putting a beacon on us. I mean, what the hell? You know, like whatever. Like we weren't gonna find that.
Yeah, and not only that, we make a jump forward. How long is it going to take the radio system to get
Right.
to get back to the other system?
Right.
10 years.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's just a repeating pattern, basically just saying "I'm here" in binary. That's all it is. But coming out of jump, you know, you come into this system that does have a gas giant. Let's see how many gas giants are there.
52.
Probably not that. Well, I mean,
That would be an impressive system.
yeah, there was one that I rolled up and I was like, Jesus, it was like an insane system. Yes, there it is. But this, we know that there are gas giants here. Oh. Oh, that's right. Has 2 gas giants. And there is a central, so there is a gas giant at the edge of what would be considered the inner system. Then there is a planetary belt that kind of goes around the system, full of planetoids. It's just leftover crap from the creation of the solar system. At the edge of on the outer planets, there is another gas giant, actually much larger gas giant. Both of the gas giants have ring systems, and then there is a very promising world to look at. So this is, let's see, 462. It is about the size of Mars at 6,400 kilometers in diameter. It has a standard Earth-like atmosphere.
Right on.
And it has a 16 to 25% liquid, a few small seas. World temperature. Yes, it was 6.0. Temperate. Anywhere from 0 to 30 degrees Celsius. Earth-like liquid and vaporized water is common. And this world, because it has just a few minor seas, very moderate ice caps at the poles.
Okay.
6.2. Hold on.
Yeah, so it's got less water than the Earth, for example.
About half of it,
Yeah.
which is definitely more than Mars.
Sure.
0 population, 0 government, and 0 law level. So this
Well,
is a
makes things
virgin
simple.
planet.
It's a verdant planet with no population. That's exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not picking up any radio transmission.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they're not, there's nothing in orbit It does have 5 moons that are of varying size, going from a moon-like, small planetoid to minor
Theos.
asteroids that are orbiting around it in an elliptical pattern, but no artificial satellites.
All right. Well, while the deep space is refueling, the Destinax will check out the planet,
Okay.
see if scan it for if there's anything we might need resource wise.
Okay. So, yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to go too far if Wes is, it could be next
Right.
with Wes gone. And it'd be nice if Brian could make it. It looks like he's been busy.
Yeah. Well, he had already told me that when he joins us, he won't be able to play every week. His job is going to keep him busy on Friday. Some Friday nights he's just going to have to work.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he definitely wants to play. He was originally interested in playing on Wednesday nights, but there was just absolutely no way he was going to be able to make it work. So
Gotcha.
he could possibly make it work on a on-off basis. So this week and next week for sure he won't be able to, and then hopefully the week after that. And we still haven't talked about whether he's going to take over Pappy the pilot or if he's going to make his own character. But
right.
What we will do is if he makes his own character, we will go through his contacts and find some links between you guys to give him give everybody some bonus skills. So that'll happen.
Cool.
Pappy will make his pounding roll. Ooh, that's not good.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. Pappy's coming in kind of hot. So he launches, and you guys are evidently taking your sweet time getting to the planet. This is
Well, I suggest we start scanning. Since we're going to be taking 3 days to get there, let's scan it for 3 days.
Yeah, it's going to take you 27.8 hours to make it to the world. He does have it pegged, but I mean, there's not a whole lot for him to run into, right? But it is a rough takeoff. Like, I don't know, maybe Pappy's been drinking.
Just scratches it getting out of
Yeah, like he forgets to lift the landing gear up, and he gouges the deck as he's taking off. Like, I don't know.
There's a cable still connected.
Yeah.
It ripped out.
The gas hose is still hanging out from the port. And so yeah, it's a rough takeoff, and he's apologizing. He's clenching his electronic cigar. He's like, sorry. Had a rough night last night.
Here, take this. This is a sober up.
It's just cocaine. It's just
cocaine
cocaine.
suppository.
Oh no! All the science fiction movies I read have a sober up pill.
Dr. Bosif has told me to take one of these.
It's just a lot of speed.
Supposed to take the alcohol out of your system within an hour.
Right. So which one of you guys? So I guess that would be Sarda. You want to make an electronic sensors check?
Sure. So we check this planet out. Oof, I rolled poorly.
Well, that's still got it. So here's another question. So yeah, so you do get the +1 to sensor checks for Destinax because it does have advanced sensors. Yeah. So yeah, you run a sensor scan. I mean at what did I say? 27.8 hours. It's still low resolution, but yeah, you're seeing that there are numerous forests. The trees on this world don't seem like they seem like they are much larger than what you would expect. Like the trees and plant life is just massively huge.
Okay.
No, we have salient trees.
The other thing that you're picking up
Do
from
they,
this,
do they walk?
they're trans. The other thing that you are picking up at this range is that there is heavy volcanic activity across the world.
All right. We'll relay this information back to the ship in case there's any planetologists that want us to do weird or wacky experiments while we're down here.
Right.
I would imagine they want us to at least get some cellular structures scanned, that type of thing. Sounds like something for Bocephus. This sounds very Bocephus oriented.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and we will break it here, and we will pick this up next week, and hopefully Wes's power will be back on by then. I mean, we haven't heard from him, so I'm hoping that the tornado didn't like go right through his house.
Yeah.
That would be unpleasant.
He's had a bad year. There's been a lot of weird things.
There's been a lot of weird shit, and it's only February.
Tornado might.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be out of place.
I think he's probably safe. He doesn't live. I don't think he lives in a trailer park, so I think he's okay.
I don't
Usually,
think so.
that's the tornadoes seem to make a beeline directly for the trailer park. I mean, I don't know what that's all about, but it seems common. But yeah, no, he's so
Just renters in general, I think.
right. Well, he's so lackadaisical about tornadoes. Like, oh well, a lot of people are really nervous about it, but I hear about it on the news. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just keep paying attention. I'm not going to get worried about it until I know they're in my area and I can hear the air raid sirens.
I was the same
When
way.
I hear the whoosh that sounds like a train, then I know to get in the bathtub.
Right.
I was the same way about earthquakes when I lived in the Bay Area, so who knows? I mean, it just happens.
Yeah, I guess I would imagine you get used to it. I don't know that I would ever get used to that. I mean,
You sit there, oh, it's a roller. We had a real roller there. That was cool. It's like,
I mean, when we lived in Arkansas, we had one roll up and down our street, right in front of the house.
a
a
tornado.
tornado?
And then we moved on. Then we moved on base, and we had one run up and down the runway.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Hurricanes and tornadoes, I don't think I could do. But I guess I'm probably. I mean,
Hell, I've done probably half a dozen hurricanes.
I mean, we get really bad, snow and ice storms here, and a lot of people from California or Arizona or Texas, like, oh my God, how do you put up with that?
Actually, when I was a little tiny kid, we had a hurricane. We had a hurricane come in and destroy our house.
Ugh.
All our furnishings have been the tidal surge came through our house, carried everything into the swamps a mile away.
Wow.
Well, then I like my mom. My mom was an Army rat, and she bopped around from base to base with her dad. But one of the bases, they lived in Louisiana, and like every night before bed. And of course, this is the 50s, and every night before bed, they would have to check their bedding for spiders and scorpions and snakes and shit. And I'm like, oh fuck that! No, I'm not doing that.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, I'm not living anywhere where I have to do that. I like some food, but
when I was in the Air Force and in Alabama, they had a recreational center in Dalton, Florida, and we had to check the grounds for alligators.
Oh yeah,
right. You went to bed. You couldn't let your dogs out because they get eat.
Right.
They get at.
No, I don't. Yeah, no. The worst I got here is raccoons and stray cats. I don't. We did
My
see a
stray
rat,
cat seemed pretty good.
Yeah, we saw a rat, but he was already dead. So. Yeah.
We get possums here.
Oh yeah, every once in a while you see a possum here. I like possums actually. Well, I like raccoons too. So my wife always gets pissed off because I'll go out and feed them. It's like, don't you pick up one of those rodents? They just want hugs. I mean, come on.
They're not a rodent.
No, a possum isn't. A possum is a marsupial, but a
Yeah.
raccoon is.
No, it doesn't class. I don't think it classified as a rodent.
Trash panda.
Yeah, trash pandas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, we will pick this up next week at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and hopefully we will have Wes with us, and we can
He
check
can
out
do
this.
his magic.
Check out this virgin planet with the gigantic trees and volcanoes.
Sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like one of those planets from the '60s,
Yes, I've decided that I need to pick up specifically
which
for
I'm expecting Raquel Welch.
yes, specifically for this game. I need to pick
Yeah,
up the
I
World
love
Builder's
watching her
Handbook.
movies.
Yeah, I need to pick up the World Builder's Handbook so I can really toss in some varied biomes. A lot of stuff in Traveler has me feeling kind of
1 million BC.
like it's Star Wars, where you have like, oh, this is Hoth, it's a snow planet, and this is Tatooine, it's a desert planet, and I'm like, that just seems boring. I want, how do we create these massive biomes and whatnot? So yeah, I think I need to pick that book up and get some more random tables.
All right.
All
Well,
right. I will see you guys
talk
next
to you
week.
Have a good
night.
week.
Good night.
Bye.
Don't let the bed bug bite.